Good morning, everyone. My name is Vibha Bhatia, and I represent AgroVision Foundation, and I'll be the moderators for today's panel discussion on the impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector and road ahead. So, as we all know that the entire world is facing the largest economic disruption due to outbreak of COVID pandemic, India has not been untouched from the heat as well. So, the coronavirus has had a huge impact on daily life of the man on the street to the businesses, and the dairy sector, even more essential than ever, has not gone unscathed. So Team AgroVision is working relentlessly to support the industry. Keeping this in view, the webinar is intended to provide a perspective on evolving situation, to understand the current issues of the dairy sector and the way forward. So from AgroVision Foundation, we have Dr. C.B. Mai. He is Chairman AgroVision Advisory Committee. So Dr. C.B. Mai, welcome. Mr. Ravi Baratkar, he is the Organizing Secretary of AgroVision. Welcome, Mr. Ravi Baratkar. And we have a distinguished panel, which in fundamental sense needs no introduction. So I will be very brief, and without delaying this further, I would like to welcome our distinguished panelists. We have with us today Professor A.K. Mishra. He is Chairman, Agriculture Scientist Recruitment Board. Mr. Arun Raste, he is Executive Director, National Dairy Development Board. Mr. R.S. Sodhi, Managing Director, Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. Dr. Manmohan Singh Chauhan, Director, National Dairy Research Institute. Dr. Bhupendranath Tripathi, Deputy Director General, Animal Science, ICAR. Dr. Ashish Paturkar, he is a Vice Chancellor, MAFSU. Dr. J.V. Parekh, he is a leading international dairy consultant. And Mr. Arun Patil, he is a Chairman, Indian Dairy Association, West Zone. So I don't think we could have a better qualified panel to address this topic today. Without taking any more time, I would like to first invite Dr. C.B. Mai for his opening remarks. So Dr. Mai, the floor is yours.
All distinguished panelists, I welcome you on behalf of AgroVision Foundation, which we are organizing this webinar on dairy. Actually, as you all know, COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown to maintain the social distancing and influencing has already influenced agriculture sector in general, and particularly those where perishable goods like horticulture, fruits, vegetable, flowers, and also now dairy sector, particularly milk, which is actually has been more affected by this lockdown. Each country has been responding in a different way. For example, I was reading Canada has asked their farmers to really dump milk because they can really compensate them. In US, there are lots of demand for the products, but the farmers are not able to reach the market. So, because there is a closure of a lot of restaurants and schools. In India, I find that this one of the very important industries, which is almost 1 lakh crore worth industry. And now, because of this, it is expected. I was earlier reading that there is likely to be almost 25 to 30% dip in the demand for this milk, particularly. But over a period of time, I think it is fairly now getting stabilized. The major reason I find is that the 15% milk consumption, which is basically home, which goes to restaurants and dhabas and all in even some of the homes, I think has come down. And that is one reason why I find that the milk sector is suffering. But I think what I am happy is about the Dairy Association, NDDB, and all associations they have requested. And there are opportunities also now coming. If we are with more milk availability, probably because there is a one sector where you have also non-perishable goods can be converted from perishable items. So this is where I think we have a lot of scope. But I find that I think there are now lots of experts. I would like to hear them and then comprehend all these issues possibly for the government's benefit. So I would thank you, Vibha. I would now hand over it to you back.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mai, for welcoming all our participants and giving this opening remark. So now I have a question for all our panelists. The impact of COVID-19 crisis has been felt and seen across the sectors. And while some categories might be up and running in no time, and others might be left grappling and struggling to return to what they were in pre-COVID era. So, in this unprecedented scenario, where does dairy sector stand today? And what are the opportunities you to see in these testing times? So I would like to know the views of Mr. Sodhi if he's here online. Mr. Sodhi?
I think he's not there.
Okay, is Mr. Patil there? Mr. Patil, what are your views on this? Mr. Arun Patil? Arunji?
Kusum, you have to unmute him.
I think.
Mr. Patil?
Yeah,
So,
he is speaking.
he is there. He's not mute. He's muted.
Kusum, can you unmute Mr. Arun Patil, please?
Okay, now it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Patil,
Namaskar.
what are your views? Yes.
Yeah. You see, this unexpected, unthought of, and unimagined problem which we are required to face has put the dairy industry in the country in a very, very bad shape. Especially if you look at the milk production in the country, it is majority by the marginal and small farmers who own hardly an animal or two, maximum 3. 70-75% of the milk of the country of 187.7 million tons is coming from this sector. And at that backdrop, in nutshell, I will say that there is a production by the masses. We do not have the mass production. So anything which is affecting the dairy industry is going to directly affect those people, and which amounts into millions and millions of the stakeholders. Today, because the HoReCa, that is hotel, restaurants and all these major consumption points in the cities, mostly Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Madras, they are all shut. The market has gone down by 20 to 30% depending upon the different cities and all that. This has prevented the cooperative dairies, private dairies which are in the Mofussil area to reduce their procurement. Since they are not able to procure the milk, the farmers are left with no choice but to dispose it at a very, very low price or at times draining. I understand from various parts of the country that in Punjab, around 50 lakh liters of milk is not collected out of 300 lakhs, that is 3 crore liters. Maharashtra also, some parts milk is not collected, some parts they are following holidays. Rajasthan is again badly affected. They are the cooperative model generally, which is collecting rather it has got a mandate to collect every drop of milk. Because they are not in a position to collect. The reason being, whatever the conversion facilities they have, they are overbooked that. They are running the plants 24/7. Still, they are not able to dry all the milk. You know, conserving milk in the form of powder and butter is the best way and the fastest way. Now, another problem is cropping up. All these cooperative plants and some of the private plants, they have been converting milk into powder, butter, and something like that. They are now full with their godowns. Today, they don't have the liquidity. In part of the Rajasthan, they have started paying back to the farmers in the form of ghee and powder. But what a farmer will do? He himself is a milk producer. So under such circumstances, we in the West Zone had a Zoom meeting last week. Yesterday also I had another meeting. Now we are requesting the government, you know, under all such circumstances and calamities, government is the only entity which we can forward, because God has shown his own, what I should say, color or whatever is there, that we have paid for that. So government has to start procuring powder and butter. That will improvise the liquidity. Then and then this business will continue. Dairy business is a very, very delicate. If this masses, they stop producing milk, they sell the animals, or sometimes animals may die. That will put the dairy industry into the reverse gear. They are unable to even maintain the animals because the cattle price is shooting like anything. Today, the cattle prices have already gone by high by 40%. So under such circumstances, we have made a proposal and we have sent to our head office to government. First thing, they should start procuring milk powder and butter at a remunerative price. We had given remunerative price with today's procurement prices, keeping in mind around 250 rupees a kg
Hello?
powder and 300 rupees kg a butter.
Hello?
Number two, they should reduce the GST on the ghee. Ghee attracts 12% GST. So we have requested government, they should reduce it to 5%, so that more and more people consume ghee in place of other oils. And so that is little relief, so that some stocks will move to the market. Plus, we have requested government even to improvise the mobility of the packing material and mobility of the raw milk. Just now I got a call from Mr. Ghanekar, Managing Director of Kolhapur Milk Union, that being Karnataka highly affected, Today, the collector of Gulbarga and all these adjoining districts, they have totally sealed the borders. Milk cannot go to Karnataka, milk cannot come from Karnataka. Gokul is procuring around 150,000 liters from that particular pocket. They said we cannot bring milk here. So under such circumstances, government has to open up certain pockets. Of course, important thing is that to protect the human beings, we fully understand that. But at the same time, we have to keep the wheel rolling. Unless and until economical wheel rolls, human beings cannot survive. So this is little very tricky situation. So we request that government should look into all these aspects. That is what we have been doing. Thank you very much.
Vibha,
If somebody has questions, I think Vibha, will you like to take the questions simultaneously, or they can put the questions later on? You kindly monitor it.
at the end.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not
fine.
able to hear you.
Yeah.
Vibha.
Kusum, please keep me on unmute
Only
thing only.
we can hear
Okay,
you.
so yeah, now you can hear me. So thank you, Mr. Patil. I would also like, sir, questions we will take at the end. So we
Yeah.
have requested people to put their questions on the chat window. So we will be taking questions at the end of the session.
Sure.
Thank you for your views. So, Mr. Raj Singh, if you're online, so I would also like to know your views on this. So, like in this scenario, where does this dairy sector stand today, and are there any opportunities that you see in these testing times?
Well, good morning. Dr. Patil mentioned about procurement and the figures which probably are affecting dairy farmers. I have my figures from the whole of the country, and while procurement is almost back to the level where it was in January, the sale of milk has gone down at least 50 lakh liters per day as compared to the January figures, that is pre-COVID figures. So from about 520 lakh liters per day that was being procured in January. As of 11th April, the country's procurement is about 514. So not much difference there in terms of procurement. But when you look at the figures for sale of milk, from 376, it has gone down to 323. So about 50 lakh liters per day, milk is not being sold. So that is the major problem which milk producers are facing. The rest of the milk is converted. Now, what are the actions being taken? So number one, if I talk about some of the state governments, their initiatives, government of Maharashtra, they have, mandated Mahananda to buy 10 lakh liters of milk per day, which they will convert into SMP and white butter and sell it at a later day on NCDFI portal. Karnataka government is buying about 7.5 lakh liters of milk every day, which is being supplied to destitutes as also the school children. NDDB is working with Government of India to start a scheme for working capital, and we already have proposals from at least 7 or 8 federations and unions across the country, which will help all these unions and federations to convert milk into value-added product. Now coming to value-added product, there is again a shortfall and in their sales, because people are feeling that they cannot eat ice cream or curd in this COVID times. Therefore, value-added products which add to profitability of all the milk unions and the federations, probably the profitability will be affected because ice cream and curd sale is a little down as compared to earlier years. The lean months where normally people convert skim milk powder for reconstitution of milk might not have the same scale of sale this year. Therefore, the rates for SMP or white butter are not likely to remain stable. In fact, they are going down in international markets. As of yesterday, the SMP rate was about landed price of SMP was about 186. In India, probably people are selling SMP. Possibly they wanted to sell SMP at 325 the last time it was traded on NCDFI, but now there are no takers for even 300 rupees. The SMP price also will be down. Going forward, there are 2 or 3 things which might happen. The state governments and the central government will have to divert some of the money from other projects to health, and therefore the state government projects or the projects which were in pipeline might need to be delayed. So if suppose any of the unions or federations were to get funding for a powder plant, or they were thinking in terms of sourcing more or procuring more milk and converting it, that might get delayed, and that will in turn affect the farmers. The second will be allied industries like packaging will also be affected, because if the packaging, if the dairies are not buying milk and not converting into product, somebody like Tetra Pak will suffer. Dairy machinery will suffer. Dairy projects will, packaging will suffer. And that will be a long-term impact. For a year or two, at least, this impact will go on. The last bit, what we are doing in NDDB. So one of our subsidiaries, Mother Dairy, as you know, probably during this COVID time, our procurement actually has gone up. In Vidarbha, we used to procure around 220 lakh liters. It has gone up to 270 lakh liters. One of our subsidiaries, IIL, Indian Immunological Limited, which is the largest FMD vaccine manufacturing company, has tied up with Griffith University in Australia and for a vaccine on COVID-19. And hopefully that should help us going forward. So that was my initial remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raste, for the valuable insights on this. So my next question is for Professor Mishra. Professor Mishra, despite strong demand for basic food like dairy products amid the coronavirus pandemic, the milk supply chain has seen a host of disruptions. They are preventing dairy farmers from getting their products to the market. So in these circumstances, what do you propose the farmers who are at loss should do to overcome these challenges? Is there any national perspective? So I would appreciate if you could share your views on the same.
Thank you, Ba. Good morning to all, especially the viewers. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Now, if you see the movement of milk, total milk produced in the country is around 188 million tons. Now, almost 48% of the milk is consumed by the producers, and the rest, 52% milk is marketed. And of which we know that about 53 or 54 million ton is handled by the organized sector, maybe the cooperative or the private sector. The remaining about 45 million ton is handled by the unorganized sector. Though the organized sector is also affected, the unorganized sector, which is affected tremendously because the hotels are closed, restaurants are closed, dhabas are closed, shops are closed. And then if you see, even the vendors are not supplying milk. And as you know, Mr. Raste was saying, even the people are not consuming ice cream and some other milk products, especially which are the chilled ones. So because of this, I think this unorganized sector is severely hit. Mithai shops are closed, Haldiram is closed, Bikanerwala is closed, and they were very large consumers of the milk. Now this is actually the sector which needs the maximum attention. And if we have to address this problem, well, one which has already been mentioned is this sector can give milk to the organized sector. But as Mr. Patil was saying, and Mr. Raste was saying, the dairies are already handling more milk. But I'm really afraid, as per my knowledge, generally, all the plants work at the efficiency of 20 to 50% less. And in dairy, I also learned that there is a flush season and there is a lean season. Now we are heading towards the lean season. If there is a capacity, probably the milk which is being handled in the organized sector must move to the organized sector. That's one possibility. Another possibility might be that all those people who are in the unorganized sector, they can join hands together with the permission of the local administration. Maybe they can start marketing their product directly. Thirdly, I think a lot of startups are coming they are delivering milk directly, at homes. Milk and milk products. So those startups can be strengthened. And ultimately, I see on the news channel that the milk is being thrown. I'm really felt very disturbed. At least, what our forefathers were doing when the milk is there, if we cannot do anything, at least we can convert it into ghee. And as one of the panelists was suggesting, instead of using the oil, we can start using this ghee for own consumption. And wherever it is possible, we can share it. And of course, as Mr. Patil was suggesting, I think government has to chip in to help dairy farmers. I think these products which are prepared by the dairies, maybe the private dairy or the cooperative dairies, and I think those products can be purchased, especially the skipping powder and the butter oil can be purchased to some extent by the government, and they have to come and help the dairy farmers. These are some of the points which I wanted to share. In the value chain, of course, other sectors are there. Maybe it is related to the production. Maybe it is related to the procurement. Maybe it is related to the processing and handling. And of course, ultimately, the storage and marketing. Each sector is hit because of the coronavirus, and there are various aspects, and they need to be addressed by the different stakeholders, including particularly the government. Thank you, Iba.
Thank you, Professor Mishra. Well, I totally understand, and I'm sure all the participants also understand that we all are very saddened to see the visuals wherein milk is like wasted, and then we will need to look at other aspects wherein we can convert this milk into ghee and then start storing it. So I hope a lot of people will now come up with the questions related to the storage issues. So of course we will take this question later. So I can see Mr. Sodhi is online now. So Mr. Sodhi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wonderful. Welcome, Mr. Sodhi. So, we were talking about, the current scenario, the impact that COVID-19 has made on dairy sector. So we asked our panelists earlier that in this unprecedented scenario, where does dairy sector stand today? And what are the opportunities you see in these testing times? So this, we would like to know the opportunities at the moment. We all are talking about challenges that we are facing, but are there any opportunities that you see?
Yeah, thank you, Viviji. Firstly, I'm extremely sorry that I was held up somewhere. See, dairy sector, if you see, what are the impacts and what are the opportunities and what is going to be the future of dairy industry after COVID or during COVID. Let me tell you, see, dairy sector or any agriculture sector, whether dairy, poultry, fruits and vegetable, where all are perishable. Same thing is going to happen. First, let us talk about production. Before COVID, everybody was saying this year production is lower than the demand and we need to import some dairy commodities. Prices of dairy products or commodities were going up. So was the case in poultry or other perishable products. When then this corona came, everybody started talking there's too much of milk, people are this, that, and now market will decline. Let me tell you, production has not increased. What was before COVID, now definitely it has reduced because of onset of summer. And as the summer is progressing, our production is reducing. So gap between the actual demand, all demand may not be able to, we are able to meet because of other logistic vector. In the production, there is a gap. Now coming to what is the whole supply chain? You see, first if farmers are producing, then milk is collected by the corporate or private sector or private vendors. Then milk is processed. Then milk products are distributed. Then products are retailed. This is the whole supply chain. If you see production is happening, collection, organized sector, cooperatives are doing rather more, doing everybody, cooperative is collecting more than 20, 30 or 50%. Like Amul is collecting in Gujarat around 15% more. Outside Gujarat, we are collecting 80% more. In Maharashtra, we are collecting 90% more in Punjab as per your theory. And that may be the all cooperatives. We had a meeting 2 days back, and all cooperatives are collecting 20, 30, 40, 50%. But why they are getting more? Because the small vendors are not collecting, mithai shops not collecting. Obviously, ice cream fellow are not collecting because there is no sale. And so are the commodity players. Commodity players are not collecting mainly in Maharashtra and other places. Reason is simple, because what commodity they are making, SMP or white wheat, they are not able to sell or transport because of logistic issue. And then instead of getting the working capital block, it is better to collect lower so that working capital problems are not there. Now coming to the distribution. Distribution is happening in case of milk or all perishable is happening now. Initially there was a problem. Now gradually things are in place. Only thing is that window available for the logistic, that is distribution, is small. In some states or cities 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8. So within 2 to 6 hours, one has to do everything, like giving to the distributor, distributor to retailer, retailer to sell it. So because of this logistic problem, demand is there. You see, let me tell you, for all perishable product, be it dairy products, milk, cheese, paneer, or the poultry products, or the fruits, or the vegetable, people are consuming more sitting at home. In-home consumption has increased. Maybe Horeca has suffered or other institutions, but in-home consumption has increased. I'll later tell you what are the indications for that. Only problem is, because of not able to reach the goods to the retailer through distributor, pipeline stocks are exhausting. Somewhere it was exhausted, some. So what we are able to pump in into the market is lower than what consumer are consuming. So gap is being generated in the market. Now coming to the what are the products which are getting impacted? What is the other? Let me tell you the products. Initially, liquid milk was in high in demand. People were doing panic buying. We had sold 15-20% more. Then it reduced to 30% next day. Then 25. Now again we are selling around fresh product, whether it's a milk or dahi or curd, around 12% lower than the pre-COVID. And it's obvious because hotel, restaurant, chai shops are closed. So that consumption is gone. In fact, that consumption is more than 15-20%. But impact is only 10 to 12% because of in-home consumption has increased. Now coming to product, we found initially great increase in demand for the Tetra Pak milk, butter, ghee, paneer, cheese. And initially we had the bottlenecks of distribution. As we have found that things are getting into place, demand for all these products are not only increasing, it is much more than the pre-COVID time. Much more. I mean, some products like paneer, it has doubled, cheese, ghee, butter 20-25% more, milk powder 25-30% more, much more than pre-COVID. And some products, drastic reduction. Example, I give you ice cream or beverages. It had reduced to practically nil, then 95% minus, then 85% minus. Now I find that gradually ice cream sales are picking up because now people are able to in place and distribute. So now ice cream is only 80% minus. Beverages which were also zero, like flavored milk or shakes or etc., now only 30-40% minus. So what I'm telling you is, lot of milk or perishable, be it milk, poultry, fruits, vegetables, have got wasted because of logistic or supply chain problems in the organic sector. Consumption has happened. So big gap has been created in the whole supply chain or the inventory. This, some people making desperate sale of milk powder at 250 to their food, let me tell you, because simple principle. Before pre-COVID, there was a shortage. I mean, I don't agree, but there are people. So suddenly in the COVID products, buffaloes and cow udders started producing more. In fact, because of farmers not able to sell their milk at 32 price in Maharashtra and they sold at 20, 22, now 20, they'll be feeding less. Farmers will be investing less in new chicks or broilers. Farmers will be investing less in growing vegetables. So what is going to happen in after 2-3 months? There is tremendous inflation in perishable food products. I'm not talking about the grains, but perishable food product, there will be tremendous increase because consumption is happening, supply chain is happening. Now production will get hampered because of wastage or not getting good prices. So in this scenario, what I feel is every player, organizer, let us not get desperate. Till we have got 1.35 billion people in India, and which is growing, we should not get desperate or get pessimistic about the consumption or the demand. More lockdowns, let me tell you, more consumption of perishable at home. Only thing is you have to make it available. Only thing you should be able to grow and supply chain. So consumption, you say there are sectors which are going to get impacted, whether it's the travel sector, hospitality sector, or the apparel sector, or the high-end watches, luxuries. So we are not in that. We are essential food. So let us not get worried. Only thing is how we should prepare about the future. Keep as much as inventory as possible, because post-COVID, you'll find demand is more. You will not be able to meet the demand. Because suddenly everybody will start buying. Even hotel restaurants will start buying. And today what happening, we are selling to the distributors. There's no problem of demand. Whatever we are able to supply there, next day each shop is getting empty. In fact, even ice cream distributors, instead of selling ice cream, whatever they'll continue, we are involved in fresh milk, we are involved in butter, ghee. So more the supply chain matters, still we are not able to meet the demand. There are other problems because labor is a problem, especially in Bombay, Delhi, bigger city. The product is there, demand is there. The unloading takes time. That much of labor. The hours are low, so we have to convince our godown people, also owners, to please allow us to number of workers. Because everybody is worried. Everybody is right. But in this, you see, we are in food category. Everybody has to sacrifice. We are giving a lot of incentives to the labor people to work during this COVID, 20-30% more, providing them meals, all safety measures, whether it's a tunnel or sanitizer or washing or mask. I mean, you all know about it, you're the expert. But we as in Amul or Gujarat, we are very optimistic about future as far as dairy industry is concerned. Whole world is crying, USA is in bad. And also tell me what you see on the TV. People are throwing away milk, people are throwing away the chicks, people are throwing away the milk. This is 99% exaggerated, just to get some benefits. So please don't go by what you see on the TV. See, actually, have you seen any of these things? Yourself, then only believe it, or your colleagues are seeing it. So with this, I think, don't be desperate. Try to invest more in supply chain partners. Try to communicate with your supply chain partner. Try to see they are financially viable. If ice cream fellow is not able to sustain because of low sale, give them the alternative businesses. Once the post-COVID come, they are capable to work for you. And for perishable product, we have got great future in India. Let's not get pessimistic. Thank you very much.
Very well said, sir. Thank you for this positive note. I'm sure a lot of people are getting, I can see the comments, a lot of people are appreciating your comments on this positive note. And now my next question is for Dr. Bhupendra Tripathi.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes.
Hello, Dr. Tripathi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, there is a spread of COVID. Is there a, do you think there is a spread of COVID-19 possible in cattle? Because a lot of people are asking us what measures should dairy farmers take to combat the spread of COVID-19 and to ensure their cattle remains healthy.
Well, before coming to that, Vibha, I'd like to make some comments.
Sure, sir.
See, we are all focusing on production, processing, and marketing, and all other speakers have told very nicely. And especially Mr. Sodhi has given a very optimistic note. That's great.
Exactly.
That's great.
Very good.
I'd like to mention that how our animals are affected. With this COVID outbreak and lockdown, no veterinary services. See, if one animal we are losing artificial insemination at the right time, we are losing per animal a lot of money.
So we have to concentrate on animals who are the factory of milk production first. Then all veterinary services in terms of veterinary health care, artificial insemination, and especially feed and fodder availability. That should also be ensured. Otherwise, this will affect after 1 year, 2 years. Its lockdown effect will be there for another 2 years, I tell you, because our production is going to be less by 5 to 6% in next 1 year and 2 years. So we have to first go for some very strategic measure for these animals that they can cover up all the veterinary care services. Second thing that I would like to tell that we know that about 70% of your milk is contributed by smallholders. So our main emphasis should be on these poor farmers or poor producers also. Can we develop plan for them in fact? But they are the people and they are the very small producer. Can they use their milk at home? Dr. Misra has very rightly pointed out that can they make some non-perishable milk product at home, and they can do it by conventional method. Somebody was giving in a chat that ghee perished within 1 month. I don't agree with that. Ghee is the one product that is sold maybe around 800 per kg or 1000 rupee per kg. And that is one product that can be encouraged by farmers to make to also ward off some effect. Then another thing that I would like to tell that how these economic losses we are going to make a document out of that. The estimated losses that we are going to have, it should be concretely developed in the form of document. No, because we are seeing a lot of newspapers. I mean, we don't have any idea of absolute loss in terms of how many thousand crores we are losing, and also those states where we have got more commercial dairy farm, they are perhaps more at loss because they neither can produce any milk product nor they are being sold out. So at least Punjab state where we have got 45% of milk is produced by commercial dairy. So such a state where commercial dairy is more flourished should be also taken care of in this document. Other point that I would like to tell, the specific point that she asked about coronavirus. Coronavirus does not affect cattle, not any domestic animal, not cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo at all. But pets may be infected. The few recent isolated reports in different countries like a tigress and a dog and a cat that have been infected by the owners or by their care, I mean the caretaker. So in such cases, we have to be careful. If you are infected with coronavirus, be away from your pets. By experimental studies, it has been shown that cats and ferrets are highly susceptible. So cats is the one that will be a trouble for us. All ferrets are big cats, they can be susceptible. Dog is less susceptible. So we should be careful of that. I mean, domestic animals are not affected at all, so people should not worry about that. So this is all I can able to add something on other people that were already added and told. Thank you, Bima.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Dr. Chauhan, your institute is working on production of superior animals so that the productivity of animals can be increased. So how this lockdown due to coronavirus is going to hamper the livestock productivity, and what plan NDRI is going to develop to combat this situation? So I would like to know your views, sir.
Okay, thank you, Viva, and good morning to all of you. And as it has been already said, as far as this production and processing is concerned, I will focus my point on the production part because what the Dr. Tripathi said that production is very, very important in our case. And because if the production is going, we are going to lose the production, then how we can process the outcome or whatever the products will be there from the milk. So at NDRI we are working, as you said, the superior quality, the animal production, superior in terms of the milk production animal, high yielders animals. And this can be done through the artificial insemination mean, which is well adapted in India. And right now we can say around 26 to 30% the breedable animals are being covered through the artificial insemination program. During this COVID this lockdown, what we have learned that the farmers are not able to get the semen stock for artificial insemination. For example, in our case, from NDRI, we used to supply around 100 liquid semen stock to the farmers. It means that every day we require around 100 liquid semen stock besides the frozen semen. And then the farmers, what farmers are doing that they are inseminating their animals, which are available to them locally from the poor quality, so-called poor quality bull. And I came to know, because when I was talking to the farmers locally, then I came to know around 20 to 30% animals were inseminated by using the local bull. So it means that then future, by the next year, we will have a poor quality animals offspring. And that is going, those animals will be with us and with us for another 10 years. So then we can say that because if you just approximately, if you measure this, around 50,000 animals will be produced in India from the poor quality bulls. So this 50,000 animals will be with us for another 10 years. It is going to then subsequently it is going to hamper the productivity and also the production system. Then what the other part, what we have observed is the availability of feed and fodder and also mineral mixture. And as we know that this, if mineral mixture and feed is not properly fed to the animal, so the animal is going to have a loss in terms of not coming into heat in due course of time in future. Also affecting the productivity in terms of the milk production. So these are the some of the what we have measured is around 5 to 6% loss in terms of milk production will be there after 3-4 months. And the other limitations what we have is in case of Haryana, because Haryana the farmers keeps mostly buffalo, and this is a very crucial period for the buffalo. If buffalo are not inseminated properly, so then next month we will have a more the hot weather, and then probably buffalo will not sow the heat. And then what will happen that by then we have to stay another 3-4 months in order to have a buffalo normal heat sowing, and then after that we can use those buffalo for insemination. So it means it has been said that already if you miss the one heat, so you are going to lose 6,000 rupees per animal. So in case of buffalo, it means that you are going to lose around 18,000 to 20,000 rupees in next 3-4 months. So then in terms of whole the production and productivity, it is going to have effect. The other part, what we can say that once it is over, so then we can suggest some of the measures. And the very important measures is that like earlier the Department of Animal Husbandry, they have a program on synchronizations of the animals. And so that those animals, those who are not coming to heat and can be used for the insemination. So what we are going to suggest that immediately once the COVID, the lockdown is over, and then we will suggest to the farmers that try to go for the synchronization of animals so that you can inseminate your animals and have a quality, superior quality semen. So that whatever the semen you will use here from the superior quality animals, you will have the offspring during after 9 to 10 months that will come again in the month of February or March. And of course, that period will also be again the adverse condition will appear there, particularly for the sake of buffalo. But we have to suggest the farmers that to overcome this, and then immediately there should be some measures from the Department of Animal Husbandry, from the state government, Animal Husbandry Department, to give some sort of incentive to the farmers, to give some sort of the mineral mixture programs, incentives, or or subsidies, and so that farmers immediately start feeding the animals with the feed and the mineral, and the animal will appear immediately into heat, and those animals can be utilized for the insemination. So these are most of the point is already explained by the earlier speaker. But these measures should be taken immediately in order to have a sustainable production in next year time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Chauhan, for your views and suggestions. Now I'll come to Dr. Paturkar. Dr. Paturkar, Maharashtra region, as you know, is reporting a lot of issues related to dairy. So after the lockdown or post-COVID era, as we say, what steps should a dairy farmer take in order to revive from this situation? And at the same time, what quality measures they should take in order to produce high yields? So we would like to know your views on this.
Yeah, definitely. Most of the speakers, Mr. Sodhi, Raste, Patil sir, DDG, Tripathi sahab has highlighted some of the issues what you asked me. In Maharashtra also the situation remains the same. Most of the dairies has been asked to process more milk for milk powder or SNPs like that, and the milk convert them into the milk product. The quality issues, the main issue in Maharashtra, whether before COVID and after, in between the COVID and after COVID. Before COVID, because of some false information in the society, definitely the poultry industry has been affected. I can say that in Maharashtra. The poultry was selling at the price of 10 rupees a kg, and production cost goes up to 70 rupees, 80 rupees a kg. This situation might not happen in the dairy industry. That might be due to the production cost, availability of concentrate, grains to the poultry, and same thing with the milk producing animals. Second thing, the quality issues, whether these quality issues related with the production or the animal health. Animal health issue has been addressed by Tripathi sir, DDG ICAR. However, the quality post-harvest quality issues, definitely this production animal, even the poultry, are not susceptible to this. There is very few evidence to say that these animals are affected by COVID. No doubt, accidentally, some pets has been reported was affected by this COVID-19. That might be the accident. An accident can happen anywhere and with anybody. So accidental case doesn't mean that it is affecting the pets or the food animals. So people should not worry. Second thing, this virus is very fragile as compared to any other virus. And as per our cooking habits, even the milk we are boiling, pasteurizing, meat we are cooking, vegetables we are cooking. So at that temperature, this virus gets killed. So there is no such quality issues and transmission of this disease from this food, animal food product to the human being. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Paturkar. So, you said that excessive milk also available with dairy and farmers.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah.
So, they also will have to take care of they have to assure the quality of the products. And most of them are not equipped with proper testing facilities other than micro lab testings. So, what suggestion do you have for them who have this excessive milk and milk products with them, for them to maintain the quality of their product?
Should I answer or somebody else?
I'm asking you, sir.
For me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, most of the milk producing unions, they are well equipped with the quality testing of this milk and milk product, including the NDDB, Gokul and Mahananda and all. As said by Dr. Patil, who is saying that in India, it is the production by the masses, not the mass production. The quality issue comes at that level, wherein we have to train the farmers, number one, train the collection center people, check the quality there, and then it can be transported to the milk processing unit.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir, for your views. Mr. Sodhi, I would like to first of all congratulate you that Amul is one such brand which is not only ensuring the supply of milk to the whole country during the lockdown, but also maintaining the best hygiene practices to prevent the spread of coronavirus. So we would appreciate if you could share with us what are the extraordinary precautionary measures in the wake of COVID-19 are being taken by Amul, and do you have any suggestions for our participants on how they can incorporate similar best practices in their respective units? Mr. Sodhi?
Unmute him. We have to unmute him.
Kusum, can you? Kusum?
He's mute.
Yes, ma'am. He has unmuted himself. Just a second.
Okay. Mr. Sodhi, can you hear us?
Who is handling the control panel? Please unmute Mr. Sodhi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's unmuted himself. Just a second.
No, he's
still on mute.
Just a second.
GCMMFHO is his user ID.
Yeah, sorry, I think now it is okay. Well, you see, the safety measures against COVID, we have taken and needs to be taken right from where milk is collected. So what happened is, in case of Gujarat, I remember on 17th of March, we got communication from state government that they need our help in communicating the precautionary measures to be taken against this COVID. So we put up huge banners at each of our mandli, village cooperative society, what are the precautionary measures farmers have to take for the individual, in washing hands, using mask, social distancing, that is okay. Then coming to the collection center, first thing is when they come up, the farmers, they form a queue. So we had formed a social distancing, those circles have been fixed for every 2 meters, so they stand as a social distancing. Then when entering the collection center, hands have to be washed, then mask has to be used. Same is true with the all staff who are collecting the milk, the society using mask and collection. Then comes the milk tankers which are coming to collect that milk from the village cooperative. So each tanker is sanitized when it is leaving the dairy for collection. When I say sanitization means outside all the tires, tanks, inside cabin, sanitizers kept in the cabin of a driver and the cleaner. And when the tanker reaches any collection center, and when cleaner is getting down to fix the pipe for unloading from the bulk milk coolers, so he is sanitizing it with the mask, entering the collection center, unloading the milk into the tanker through a pipe, and again sanitizing it, his hands, and then entering the cabin. So in effect, he is not touching anything in the village cooperative society, and whatever hands are touched, is then again when the milk tanker is reaching back to the dairy after 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 7, whatever is the time period, again before entering the gate of the dairy, tankers are sanitized from tires and outside, and then cabin again. So that is the collection of milk. Similarly, when these drivers are going early morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, leaving, so naturally they have provided the breakfast or nashta. They have been given tea and nashta during the transit, so that 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, they are not going to get anything. And when they come back, some drivers are coming up to the 4 o'clock, lunch is provided in the dairy canteen. Then the dairy also, when workers are coming to enter, first thing is they have to come through the tunnel. We have formed a sanitizer. It's nothing very great science. You don't need to get from outside. You have to use some pipes and the thick plastic film generally which we are using for the cold storage or for the 6 liter, 7 liter milk. You just make it and then put your pump and the spraying nozzle and then timer. So 10 second to 20 second when you enter inside the sanitizer, be hydroperoxide or whatever other better sanitizer available. So you are sanitized from the outside. Then your temperature, doctor is there to check your temperature to the gun. And then you are washing hands and then using mask entry. In the dairy, the social distance is maintained, especially where packaging, or suppose you are packing paneer into a bag, or you are packing cheese in the when you are standing very near, so or a butter packet. So there you, instead of workers standing very near, we have kept a distance. So naturally production capacity is reducing for that time, but you are running all the 3 shifts and running more lines so that your production is not much hampered. Same is in case of when you are transporting the goods out to the markets or to the other branches, maybe 2,000 kilometers, 3,000. Again, all the trucks or the tankers are sanitized, dispatched, cabins are sanitized. Same is true when the tankers are received in the dairy or the warehouses. So basically everything is sanitized. You can't take any chance. And workers are first thing is you have to check their temperature, you have to sanitize, you have to keep the social distancing. And all packaging material, anything coming out of the dairy plant, you have to sanitize. So because if one case comes, you have got the problem with that plant. So one has to take all this care. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your views, sir. I'm sure a lot of people will adopt these best practices in their respective units and come out of this turmoil. So, Mr. Raste, I would like to ask you something here. So, a lot of people are asking for is there any financial package or scheme proposed for the dairy sector from the government in the form of a working capital? Because a lot of people are worried now. So how are they gonna, survive this turmoil? So is there any, financial package or scheme proposed?
Well, NADB has been working with the Government of India for such a scheme, the contours of which are likely to be changed. We had an earlier scheme for working capital, but today, I think, or latest by Monday, the new guidelines will come. We already have, as I said, applications from a lot of, unions as well as federations for working capital. As of today, probably I have a requirement of about 500 crores and which is likely to go up. So we're working with DAHG to take care of this working capital because we do realize that milk is a perishable commodity. And if we are in a position to provide working capital to these unions and federations, probably that one day perishable commodity can be converted into a commodity which is probably conserved commodity which can have a shelf life of 12 to 18 months. So all the industry will hear from us as well as the DHD either today or on Monday about the working capital. That is number one. Second, I will add to what Mr. Sodhi was saying in terms of the information about COVID in rural areas. Because if you see the whole dissemination, it is only to probably middle classes in urban centers. And dairy is one sector where probably information dissemination has happened across the country in rural areas. So in NADB, we came out with guidelines which were circulated by Government of India to all the federations and all the unions across the country. I'm proud of Gujarat because we are based in Gujarat, but across the country, the same guidelines are being forwarded by the ministry. So everybody across the sector, all unions, all federations, all the states are in a position to follow what Mr. Sodhi was saying is done in Gujarat, but that's what is being done across the country. And the last bit, as I said, there was one question which I was seeing, probably what will be the impact on conserved commodities going forward when the lockdown is lifted. And I'm a little pessimistic on that. The prices are likely to go down, so we'll have to store more. We'll have to conserve more. We'll have to conserve our cash. And therefore, this working capital, which is, the funding which is coming from government will be of much use to all the dairy unions, the federations, and the farmers in general. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Patil, as an association, you understand the ground reality. So what are your suggestions to the government in addition to what Mr. Raste has said?
You know what I have narrated in my opening remarks? The same thing. If we ease out the working capital position, of course, as a association, we have to cater to the demands of the private sector also. Because the cooperative sector definitely well taken care by National Dairy Development Board. And as far as Amul is concerned, they are such a big, they don't require anybody's help. People go themselves to them to help. And that's a wonderful thing. That is one thing I will like to emphasize to all the people working in different cooperatives. This is what was the dream of father of white revolution, Dr. Kurian. He wanted to see Amul every state. That's why he created this federation. But unfortunately, barring few, quite a few cooperatives, they are not coming up to the expectations. You know, if you grow, you have got a lot of advantages. Today, I was talking to Mr. Sodhi a couple of days back about this working capital issue. He said, what working capital you are talking? My requirement is so big, whatever little things we'll be getting, that will not be sufficient for me. And that is true. He is having a turnover of 50,000 crores. You know, when you become big, a lot of problems are solved. People approach him, collector, SP, they will approach him, sir, what are the problems you are facing? And I will request all other cooperatives to try to rise to that level. Come together, form a big conglomerate. Then all the problems are solved. Packing material, he said, we are getting enough. Wherever there are problems, of course, there will be some hiccups, some problems here and there. Why they are able to do such big business? Why Mother Dairy is able to do? Because they have really been catering to the needs of the people. And that's why every department of the government is coming to them. Sir, please let us know what we can do. So my request to other cooperatives also to emulate that. Come closer. Don't think of competition. You can compete when you become big. Today, why Amul is spreading pan-India? Why Mother Dairy is working pan-India? Because they have developed that strength, and that is what the country needs today. We don't require small fellows handling 20,000, 50,000, 60,000 liters of milk. Okay, let them handle that, but let them conglomerate, let them federate with the bigger fellows, so that all problems will be taken care. Problems for the private sector are definitely there. Working capital, as Mr. Raste and Suriji has also said. So these people have to be helped. Ultimately, they are going to procure milk from the milk producers. These are the weak masses. Cooperative does not have reached to 100% milk production in the country. So they have their share, private has their share. And under such circumstances, private will desert. They will say, sorry, it is not meeting my two ends, so I'm not able to procure. So they raise their hands and then cooperative helps them. But somehow we have to look into the problems of the privates also. Ultimately, the last man, that is the rural milk producer, he should remain alive. He should remain in business. That is what we all have to strive and we all have to work. If we are able to do, I think definitely. Coming back to the future, definitely. Now lean season is coming, and as Dr. Mishra has said, that difference between the lean and flesh, these are the gone days. Earlier, it was buffalo milk dominated milk production in the country. Today, it is more or less equal or close to that. So we don't have that much difference between lean and flesh. Another point Dr. Mishra has said, why people don't convert milk into ghee and all that at rural level. Yes, sir, people are doing that. But what happens to a small farmer with 20 animals producing say 100 liters or 200 liters? He cannot handle that. He doesn't have machinery for that. And even if he does it, where he will store the butter? He doesn't have a ghee kettle. So he has to have handshake with some cooperative, with some private who has got a total plant, machinery and total infrastructure. That is what is possible. So working capital is the need of the day. And for that, we request government should procure maximum powder, butter, whatever they can, as they do under MSP schemes. You know, today morning I saw that internationally, skim milk powder is sold at $2,514 US. Butter is sold at $4,263 US. This works out to 193 rupees a kilo skim milk powder and 328 rupees butter price. With whatever prices we are paying, thanks to cooperatives like Amul and Mother Dairy, and of course there are like Gokul and so many other for Bihar. We are paying much higher price. So when we purchase a milk at higher price, when we convert it into product, internationally we are uncompetitive. So government has to come to the rescue, purchase it, hold it, and then again supply to the country or to the people under TDS scheme, under nourishment program, whatever is there. That is what we have to do. And well, many times we say why we should go to the government. Government is the only entity which we can look up to. God will not help us at this moment. We have to help ourselves, and for us, government. This is what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now I have Dr. J.V. Parekh. He has been waiting for long. Sir, you have been an international leading consultant. So I would like to ask you, what is the situation across the globe and what are post-COVID trends that you foresee? Dr. Parekh?
You have to unmute him.
Kusum, can you please unmute Dr. Parekh?
Yes, sir. I am trying. I'm doing that. I've been trying to unmute him since a long time. I'm trying to unmute him. I don't know. Ma'am, I don't know. Just little, I don't know.
You can take up another question if there is any pressing questions. Can you take that?
Yeah. Okay. Has he been unmuted?
I'm trying to do that. I don't know. From his end, I think.
Yes, sir.
Not
Sir,
getting connected.
Can you hear me?
Yes, he's there.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
We can hear you. Please go ahead. Sir, you have again muted yourself. Sir, please put yourself on unmute now.
Very difficult.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Dr.
Hello?
Parekh, we can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, very much, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me. I think learned speaker has given a very good idea about the present dairy situation in the private sector as well as the cooperative sectors.
Yes.
I'm also very much optimistic that this COVID virus will go maybe after 2-3 months and we'll be again back to the normal business. But as we mentioned that from the milk producer to the consumer, there is some breakdown of the chain happened because of the problem of the distributions. And because of the milk prices has not been taken prices by the private sector, the price has gone down even 20 rupees. I find somewhere even Mother Dairy has reduced for 10 rupees, I was told. Day before yesterday, Mahananda has also reduced 2 rupees procurement prices. So producer has a really big problems. I think wherever there is a market is there, like Amul big brand is there, they are doing very well. But there are smaller players, private sector as well as cooperative, have the same problems. So how much powder they can store, skim milk powder or ghee, there is a limit, and there is also a blocking of the money. So that a government has to take that how the money can be, either they have to buy the powder or give some term loan at a cheaper rate. Now I was told that NDDB is giving at 5% rate of interest. The same can be followed with the private sector also. Because we find that a level playing game is not there with the private sector and with the cooperative sectors. Cooperative sector gets a lot of benefit from the NDDB or through the NABARD or some international agencies, but private sector is not getting much benefits. So basically that playing of the, equal paying game can happen, then there should be a good chance of doing that. By this time, whatever the things are happening in the private sector, that you need some support at this stage. But as we know that country is passing in a bad time now, lot of economy is already down. I was told the GDP is down to 1.9%. So these are the conditions where we can, how much we can ask from the government. But you can have a better, major problem is the liquid milk. Liquid milk 50% has gone down in some parts of the India. Some people are not getting the milk. So I was suggesting that if liquid milk, the MRP price is still not reduced by the private players or some maybe also cooperative players. So if MRP price is also reduced, that could be also helpful to the consumer. Second thing that if instead of delivering the milk every day, if you can deliver the milk in an alternative day to the consumers, that becomes also a little bit more comfortable to the, I mean, not to go every time and get these infection problems. So I would suggest that this type of something has to be taken care. Now recently I was saying that RBI has also announced some 25,000 crore rupees for this through the, I mean, NABARD given for this type of purpose also. So money will come, but as we mentioned that now summer will be coming shortly after maybe couple of months, where milk production may go down, and there will be also government will also disappear maybe after a couple of months, so maybe improvement. So I'm very much optimistic with Sodhi Saab, whatever he has mentioned. But we have to keep the, because private sector and the cooperative sectors are equally playing the role, they are handling equal quantity of the milk, almost 50-50%. So this sector is almost neglected and they are having a big problems because nobody is going to buy the powder, so that's why they are not going to paying the good price to the milk producers. Some are paying 22 rupees, and nobody is there buyer for the skim milk powder, whatever we are talking international price or local price. So that we have to see that how the best can be balanced. And I think beyond the government, I think the situation will improve further. And I think there will be a good days to start with this. But there will be some problem to 6 to 8 months. So we have to keep on doing the dairy industry as a tools of, sort of a livelihood for the milk producer. All the dairy chain is a important sector running from the milk producer to the consumers. So these are some of the suggestions government should consider about this, giving some concessions to the statutory, whatever the bills are there to be paid can be deferred for some time. Also there is some GST can be reduced on the ghee or butter powder, I mean milk powders, which will also help to do these things. So these are some of my suggestions, deferring the statutory payment to the for next month, because so many bills are there, electric bills, other bills that can be deferred for a couple of, I mean for 6 months, that will be better. So they agree. Basically now country has a more problem of the living, keeping the people livelihood is little bit important, but first is keeping the life alive, that is more important. So I think Prime Minister is doing his best, but whatever way dairy industry can be sustained should be supported by the NABARD or by the government. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Parekh, for your valuable inputs and suggestions. I'm sure government will take a note of it, and we will be, creating some recommendation and we'll be submitting the same to the government after the session is over. So I believe we are, So, time is running out on us, so we could use some time for question and answers. We could take 2 or 3 questions from the audiences. And Kusum, do you have 1 or 2 questions ready for us?
Yeah, ma'am.
I would like to ask a question here.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Mr. Ravi Bharat. Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear all this, all you distinguished speakers. So one thing we found out, it came into your discussion, that the dairy farmer who is attached to cooperatives or maybe some other organized sector has not suffered much. The problem was with those who were supplying milk, or whose milk was brought by other stakeholders, by unorganized sectors perhaps. So I think the real challenge is how can we build or bring more farmers into this organized sector, be it a private or a cooperative or a government. So what needs to be done and how this can be enhanced or accelerated post-COVID? Maybe Dr. Sodhi, Dr. Raste.
Dr. Raste, Dr. Sodhi, would you like to answer his question?
But I think it is the duty, what I feel is, as Ravi has very rightly pointed out, I think it is the duty of organizations like several NGOs, like our AgroVision Foundation, where we can really connect these small people to directly the cooperatives or the government sector. And that is possible provided we make a campaign, because if it is succeeded in Gujarat, why not it can succeed everywhere? I think this is what is my point.
That's true. We had a very good example of Mother Dairy in Vidarbha region also. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's possible.
Other places, why we still don't have much coverage in this organized sector. Yeah. I would like to hear from Mr. Sodhi. What are the limiting factors?
Mr. Sodhi?
Kusum, unmute Mr. Sodhi.
Ma'am, sir, he has the access there.
सोडी जी आप अनम्यूट कीजिए अपने आप अनम्यूट कीजिए अपने आप को।
तो म्यूट किए हैं।
अनम्यूट आपका माइक्रोफोन चालू करो। Bottom left is the microphone sign. Please click it so that the arrow goes. That means it is on.
Yeah.
If there is a bar on that, that is mute. If you remove that, that is unmute. I think your central control panel can do. Who is the monitor?
Yeah.
I am there, but he can. Yeah, he's there.
Yes. It is taking lot of.
Welcome back, sir.
Okay. Well, you see, I fully agree that these farmers attached to unorganized sectors are very has to seek a lot of volatility in the prices. But let me also tell you, this is not the only case with the unorganized sector. Organized sectors do exploit. I'm using slightly harsh word, exploit. You see, if you last 3-4 years, there was not much reduction in the MRP of milk or milk products prices. But still, lot of organized player in private and cooperative reduced the price being paid to the farmers drastically. There was no reason.
That's what I mentioned.
There was no reason to reduce farmers' price at 8 rupees, 10 rupees. Just to see, because poor farmers is desperate, he is having more milk, no body, so I can buy at low price. So when you try to exploit farmer, when he is in problem, when farmers at a higher level, farmers are declining term, he will not give you milk. He is not loyal to you. He will not supply. So then we say, "Arre, there is no milk, let us import it." See, when you see, I remember players 1 month or 2 months back, they were approaching all levels to resort for import of milk and milk product. What was that thing? It means for 3 years farmers suffered, and now again you want to suffer him because you are not able to earn the profits of 10 rupees. And now again you see, when this was a situation when everybody is in problem. What is the need of reduction in farmers' price by the organized player who are selling milk? Their 80 or 90% milk collection going for the packed milk where price, they have also reduced the price of milk. And then farmer definitely will reduce production. Then same players will go to the government, please allow imports. So what I want to say is, sir, this is like marriage. This is like long-term relationship. If organized player or unorganized player say that today I want to earn, whether farmers are losing or earning, that is not my concern. So naturally, you are not going to get more farmers into the organized sector, whether corporate or private. So first thing is, we have to make farmers as partner in the business. Truly, not on the paper or when speaking on the TV that we are buying from the farmers and we are farmers. You see, you have to, in your actions, you see why you reduce price to the farmer. You see why you want to import milk powder. Why you are reducing price to the farmer now. Please answer this question and then say that, I mean, why farmer will believe you? Why farmer will trust you? You leave them when they are in difficulty. So first is earn the trust of farmer. By Dr. Varghese Kurian was saying only thing. In dairy industry, you can only succeed if you ensure stable and remunerative price. Please mind word, stable and remunerative. Is organized sector sticking to this? Or we are sticking to how to increase my profit, how to increase my viability only. So when you have got a totally diagonally opposite business interest, naturally nobody is going to believe you, and then more and more farmers will not come into organized sector arena. So my request is, this is a very good learning for the organized sector last 3-4 years. Please make them your partners. Don't try to earn yourself. Let the farmer also earn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we quickly take one or two questions if you have time. Is it okay, sir?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, Kusum, do we have questions? Maybe if you can mute Dr. Dipender Singh Shekhawat. Dr. Dipender Singh Shekhawat. Dr. Shekhawat, can you hear us?
Just a second, ma'am. He's asked a question.
Can you unmute him, please?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm finding him. A lot of questions. So many questions from our people. From
I think if somebody has given message, you can read out their names and messages. That is enough. You can read the questions.
Find this person. Yeah, he's asking that what is going to be post lockdown procurement process? Prices. Post lockdown procurement prices. Post lockdown flush volumes. As in animals are not happening. This is his question.
Who would like to answer this? Post procurement prices and post procurement. Okay, sir, there is one question I have. He says that are cooperatives ready to pay good procurement price to farmers after lockdown? Mr. Raste, if you would like to answer this.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Are cooperatives ready to pay or corporates ready to pay?
Cooperative ready to pay good procurement price to farmers after lockdown. Cooperative ready to pay.
No, procurement price is a mechanism of market. If we increase the procurement price of milk at rural end, probably we'll have to hike the consumer price, and that we cannot do. So therefore, there are two sides to this. One is the consumer side, where you cannot hike the prices of the milk at consumer end. At the same time, we need to give more money to the producer. And that's something which cooperatives have been doing very effectively, because for every liter of milk, which a cooperative sells, about 70-75% of the consumer price is going back to the producer. So suppose you are buying milk in, say, Delhi or Mumbai at 40 rupees, probably around 75% of that 40 rupees goes back to the producer. So that is number one, which cooperatives are doing. And that is because of efficiency in the supply chain, because the cooperatives, their operating costs are very, very low. Probably they have mastered the art of reducing their own costs and transaction costs, and therefore they can pass on maximum money to the producers. So as I said, probably there won't be much impact in terms of post-COVID, the prices. They have gone down a little at the moment because there is an oversupply situation, because the private players are not buying. The moment the private players start buying milk again, the moment the chai shops, the mithai shops, they come back, the demand will go up and the prices will stabilize.
Wonderful, sir. So we have so many questions and we are running out of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to compile all the questions and we'll compile a resource paper and we'll share it with all our panelists. So we would like to, I would like to now invite Mr. Ravi Baratkar for his closing remarks, and we will be taking questions, like I said, in the resource paper, which we'll be publishing on AgroVision Foundation website. So Mr. Baratkar, for your closing remarks, please.
All questions cannot be taken in this short period of time.
Exactly, sir.
So I think you can list these and we will try to get the answers and we can supply them in due course of time.
Exactly, sir. That's what I said, sir. We will compile the questions and we will release the response.
You invite already. Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Baratkar, for your closing remarks, please.
We had wonderful deliberations and we covered almost all topics on the dairy industry, right from production and even in production, right from cattle management to the feed management, processing, distribution, marketing, and I think what I can see from the chart, at this 275 to 300 participants which are talking about this, they're happy with the views. So first and foremost, on behalf of AgroVision Foundation, I sincerely thank all the panelists who spared their time today and expressed their views, shared their experiences on this topic. It's good to know that perhaps dairy is one of the industry which had not much negative impact, and will certainly look forward for a better future. And farmers are also, though few may be stressed out, but over a period of time, everything will be okay and looks positive, looks very optimistic. My special thanks to Mr. Sodhi for giving a detailed overview of the situation and his very optimistic remarks. Thank you so much for joining us today. I also thank Professor A.K. Mishra for the perspective he has given on the entire thing. Dr. Arun Raste of NDDB, Dr. B.N. Tripathi, Dr. Manmohan Singh Chauhan of NDRI, and also Dr. Paturkar of Vice Chancellor of MAFSU, Dr. J.V. Parekh, and of course Mr. Arun Patil for giving us the perspective from the industry side.